What would you do if your car broke down in the middle of nowhere, outside a place that screamed trouble? For Mia, a 28-year-old graphic designer fleeing a fractured life, that question became her reality one humid summer evening. Her old sedan sputtered to a stop on a desolate stretch of Route 17, the engine coughing its last breath just as the neon sign of the Rusty Anchor biker bar flickered into view. The gravel lot was packed with gleaming motorcycles, and the air thrummed with the low growl of engines and the occasional burst of raucous laughter. Mia's heart pounded. She was alone, vulnerable, and stranded in a place where every stereotype screamed danger. But what happened next would unravel everything she thought she knew about fear, kindness, and the human spirit. Mia gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles white. Her phone was dead, her charger useless without a working car. The bar's neon sign buzzed like a warning, casting a red glow across the hood of her car. She'd been driving for hours, running from a breakup that had shattered her confidence and a job that had drained her soul. This trip was supposed to be her escape, a chance to start over in a new city. Now, she was stuck, with no plan and no one to call. The bar loomed like a fortress of chaos, its windows dark, its patrons hidden behind leather and denim. She'd seen enough movies to imagine the worst. Rough men, sharp words, maybe worse. But sitting in her car wasn't an option. The sun was dipping below the horizon, and the desert night would soon swallow her whole. Steeling herself, Mia stepped out, her sneakers crunching on the gravel. The air smelled of gasoline and cigarette smoke. She slung her backpack over her shoulder and approached the bar, her pulse racing with every step. The door swung open before she reached it, and a towering figure filled the frame. A man with a grizzled beard, a leather vest studded with patches, and eyes that seemed to size her up in an instant. "Car trouble?" he asked, his voice a low rumble. Mia nodded, her throat dry. "It just died. I don't know what's wrong." She braced for indifference, maybe mockery. Instead, the man whose vest read Hank tilted his head toward her car. "Let's take a look," he said, waving over two others from the bar. They were an intimidating trio. Hank, broad-shouldered and weathered, a wiry guy with a shaved head and a scorpion tattoo, and a younger man with a crooked smile and grease-stained hands. Mia's stomach twisted. Were they helping, or was this a trap? As they popped the hood and poked around the engine, Mia stood back, clutching her bag like a shield. The bar's door creaked open again, and a woman emerged tall, with silver hair tied back and a no-nonsense stare. "You okay, hon?" she asked, her voice warm but firm. Mia hesitated, then nodded, surprised by the concern. The woman introduced herself as Lila, the bar's owner. "These boys look scary, but they're softies," she said with a wink. "Hank's a mechanic, and Tommy over there rebuilt his bike from scratch. They'll figure it out." Mia's guard began to crack, but she stayed wary. The first twist came when Hank pulled a worn photo from his wallet while inspecting the engine. "My daughter's about your age," he said, almost to himself. The picture showed a young woman in a graduation cap, beaming. "She's off at college now. Hates when I worry, but I can't help it." His gruff voice softened, and Mia saw something unexpected: vulnerability. This man, who looked like he could bench press her car, was just a dad missing his kid. It was a small moment, but it shifted her perspective. Maybe these dangerous men weren't what they seemed. The second twist hit harder. As Tommy, the young biker, tinkered with the spark plugs, he started humming a familiar tune, one of Mia's favorite songs from her childhood. She couldn't help but smile. "You like the Eagles?" she asked. Tommy grinned, wiping grease on his jeans. "Grew up on him. My mom used to play Hotel California on repeat." He paused, then added, "She passed a few years back. Cancer. This bar, it's kind of my family now." His honesty caught Mia off guard. These weren't just bikers, they were people with stories, losses, and lives that ran deeper than their leather jackets. As the night wore on, Lila brought Mia a soda and sat with her on a bench outside the bar. The desert sky was a canvas of stars, and the bar's noise faded to a hum. Lila shared her own story. She'd inherited the Rusty Anchor from her late husband, a biker who'd turned it into a haven for misfits. "People judge what they don't understand," Lila said. "But this place? It's about second chances." Mia felt a lump in her throat. She'd been running from her own failures, afraid to trust again. Yet here, in the last place she'd expected, she found connection. Hank called out that the car was fixed a loose battery cable, nothing major. But instead of sending her on her way, the group insisted she stay for dinner. Inside the bar, Mia braced for chaos but found warmth. The bikers shared their meal, greasy burgers and fries, and traded stories. One, a quiet man named Carl, revealed he'd been a paramedic before joining the club. Another, nicknamed Bear, admitted he volunteered at a local animal shelter. Each story chipped away at Mia's fears, replacing them with a quiet awe. Then came the moment that broke her. As she prepared to leave, Hank handed her a small, hand-carved wooden keychain shaped like a star. "For luck," he said. "Made it for my daughter, but I think you need it more tonight." The gesture was simple, but it hit Mia like a wave. These strangers, who she'd judged as threats, had shown her kindness she hadn't felt in years. Tears welled up as she clutched the keychain, its edges smooth from Hank's careful hands. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice breaking. "All of you." Driving away, Mia glanced at the keychain dangling from her rearview mirror. The rusty anchor faded in the distance, but its light stayed with her. She'd come to that bar expecting danger, but left with something far greater. A reminder that humanity thrives in the unlikeliest places. The dangerous men and women of the rusty anchor had fixed more than her car thief mended a piece of her heart. Yendi.